republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sue Watkins has invocation.
Let us bow our heads. We give thanks for this gathering of friends and fellow Rotarians. May the spirit of summer inspire us to greater service and fellowship. Bless our time together and the work we do in this community and beyond. Amen.
Join me in the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? You guys can be seated. Oh, hey guys, welcome to Rotary. Really quick, I had gotten a message from Sabrina Frame. She's been a Rotarian if last year or early this year, she had a house fire just days after she brought her newborn home. So she sent me a message she wanted me to read to everyone. It says, Rotarian friends, I want to thank you all for your generosity to help my family and I get back on our feet after our house fire. This tragic event has been a reminder to us just how amazing the community is in which we live. I can truthfully say we wouldn't be where we are in the recovery process without everyone's support. You all have a special place in my heart. Looking back still comes with a ton of emotions, but we know our future in our new house comes with great things. Thank you again for your support, Sabrina and family. Oh, hey. So with that, I'm going to have Gary come up with an announcement.
Today, we've got the Rotary Foundation to meet again after the meeting, please. So foundation members, please stick around to entertain a ask by Energized Clinton. So we're going to discuss that. I have 3 checks here for Andrew Kita, and he was supposed to be here, but
he's on Zoom.
He's on Zoom. Okay, I will drop these checks by to Andy, and for $1,000 to the Comanche Public Library, and another $1,000 to the library, and then the Greater Comanche Community Fund $3,000. So those are all past donations that the foundation has authorized. And then Carrie here's a $3,200 check for information referral service, and that's the balance of in her year of presidency, her project. She came in under budget and felt that she'd like to have that go to the information referral. Just a couple of other items. Back in January of 2017, the Rotary Club started the Clinton Rotary Community Fund with $10,000 contribution. And that fund has now been the city or the Clinton Foundation has now been combined into the community fund of Great Dubuque, and that fund for the new people is the endowment fund. So if any of you in your wills have a soft spot for the Clinton Rotary, why that fund started out with a $10,000 balance, and the 5% fund balance income back to the club started once we hit 100,000, And that endowment fund has 123,000 in it. So last year we received $3,100 back from our endowment foundation to be used by the club for projects. And the goal there is if we can get some more contributions in there, that we won't have to have as much raised in our annual fundraiser in Boo Bash, and we can rely more heavily on this money coming back to the club. So that's our endowment foundation. The club also, to do the annual Boo Bash, created a Rotary Club of Clinton Charitable Foundation. And so that foundation creates the Boo Bash revenues that we get each year, and anybody that gives the club a donation that they want to be able to take it off on their income taxes. And that balance is got 87,232 in it. And so the new president has ideas coming this year that will help. We never intended for that fund to have that much money. So it's a hope that we can find some community based projects this year. So anyway, that's all I have.
That top check is for Clinton.
Yeah, Clinton Public Library. Oh yeah. Okay. Very good.
So the Clinton Public Library, their summer reading program's also getting $1,000.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to have Heather Farwell come up with a Boo Bash.
So we're getting close to our annual fundraiser, the Boo Bash, which is Friday, October 24th. Every table I put 10 copies of our sponsorship letters. So those have been mailed out, but sponsorships are slow to come in. So the Boo Bash Committee is asking all Rotarians' help. I am going to be passing around our master list. This has both sponsors and people who have donated a basket item for the actual fundraiser. We would like for everyone to put your name on one business or person who was a prior sponsor or prior donator to help us continue to raise funds for Boo Bash. We're meeting weekly, Wednesdays at 4 o'clock at the Rusty Barrel, and I will get that information to Jill because we were meeting at Copper Mill. And we are working on donation ideas. We're working on different events that we can have to help raise money there, like a costume contest, 50-50. So we're in the process of determining what small little fundraisers we can do at the event, but we really do need some help to gather more sponsors. So I'm going to pass this around, and I would appreciate everybody continuing to pass it around as the program goes on. And if you have any questions, or if you don't want to call someone, but you have a contact and you would like someone on the committee to, please put either myself, Lindsay, or Christy's name on this next to your name, and then we'll make a connection with you to try to help raise more funds for our annual fundraiser. Thank you.
Okay. Well, and I'm going to call Carrie Denner up here next. And real quick, Francis Bogus is a Rotarian, and he's also our coach for Hometown Pride and Keep Iowa Beautiful. Keep Iowa. He's not going to be able to continue on that role here in Clinton County with Keep Iowa Beautiful, and so we're having a open house for Francis Wednesday night. That's the 30th. This Wednesday night at Hall of Fame out in DeWitt. That's going to be from 5 to 7. So if anybody wants to come out and honor Francis, come out on Wednesday night. So, Carrie.
I have two things today, but awkwardly, one of them is a conflict with the Francis. I'm so sorry about that. On your table, there is a flyer. This is a United Way fundraiser. It's called Food for Thought Food Truck Festival. So that is also this Wednesday evening. So if you're not out celebrating with Francis, Wednesday, July 30th, 5 to 8 p.m. There's a list of food trucks who will participate. They ask that you bring either fresh produce, a monetary gift, something to support, basically the local food pantries. That's your admission to the event. It's all being posted at like the Big River Packaging, Planet Fitness, Marshall's parking area. So right there on Lincoln Way. And there's a flyer on your table. So that's something for your consideration that I was asked to share. Let me know if you have questions on that. The second thing is, I'll just make a sort of a short announcement at this time. And then for anyone who can stay after the meeting just for 2 minutes, we'll do a photo op with Regan with information referral. But at this time, I'll give you the real check. Hold on a second. And then afterward, any Rotarian who can be in a large group photo, the check is larger than life. So actually, the more that we have, the better. We'll just take a photo with Regan. But if you want to come up, Regan. It is really our honor as Rotarians to present information, referral, and assistance services with this check for $3,200. As Gary mentioned, last year's presidential project was focused on food security, and Regan was a key participant. Her organization, Information Referral, is really the hub of the wheel here in Clinton County to help get food in empty bellies and keep the produce going and the donation gardens and all of those things. So she was a great partner. But the reason there was a surplus of funds is just that our keynote speaker and facilitator was so generous that her honorarium was just very low. And so we had budgeted to have a speaker. We had an excellent speaker and facilitator, and I think it was really her desire, and it's our club's desire, that the money go where it's having the best impact in our community. So we'll do the photo op after the meeting, but it is with great pleasure that we present you with these funds.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, next up is Braden with Fellowship.
The lack of applause compared to the applause we just got has been noted. We'll start with guests. Andy, do you want to introduce Wayne?
Yeah, this is Wayne Steen. Wayne is our assistant governor, and so hopefully we have him here for a while. So everybody get a chance to meet Wayne. Hello, everyone.
Andy, you have another guest.
Yeah, and this is also Anthony. Anthony is the manager of Brown's Shoes here in town. And I've been hoping to get Anthony as a Rotarian for a while, so everybody treat him really nice and tell him we do great things here. So
Carrie, do we want to introduce Regan again? Welcome. Andy Ferguson.
Yeah, I brought my wife Selena. She got a day off from the library, so I brought her.
Are there any more guests that I missed? He's down. All right, birthdays this week. Susie Messiker on July 29th. So if you see Susie tomorrow, wish her a happy birthday. Or today. Our gift to you is going to be not singing, as is my tradition. Anniversaries this week. Mary Connell is 29 years on the 29th. Rod Tokheim is 19 years on the 31st. And Gary DeLacy is 8 years also on the 31st. So congrats on your anniversaries. So for this week's trivia, my daughter, most of you know, is 2.5, and we finally started letting her watch movies, and she's fallen in love with Frozen. So I just watched Frozen over the weekend, and so I've got some Frozen-based trivia for you guys today. Starting up here with the front table with Andy, what year was Frozen released?
2009.
13, 9, or 15.
One of those is correct. I'll let you tell me which one.
Shit, now there's a pressure.
Is it 14?
No, one of 13, 15, or 09 is correct.
Let's go.
I'll let
13.
13 is correct. Andy Ferguson's table. What was the budget for Frozen? I'll give it to you if you're within 20 million.
$520 million.
You went way high. It was 150 million. Claire's table in the back. How much did Frozen make at the box office? I'll give it to you if you're within 200 million. The answer is 1.28 billion. Dennis Lauber's table. Frozen was so successful that Disney made Frozen 2. What year was Frozen 2 released?
2016.
It was 2019. So close. Middle table here. How much did Frozen 2 make at the box office? Same deal. If you're within 200 million, I'll give it to you as a correct answer.
Right, we're gonna let it go.
$1 off your fine for creativity. The answer is 1.453 billion, so a little more than the original. All right, my table up front. Disney now plans to make a Frozen 3. What is the anticipated year of that release?
27.
Which one do you want to go with? 27's right. Thanks, everybody.
It is my great pleasure to welcome our current president, Andy Green. I get the pleasure of having Andy as a board member at the library and various other fun things. So without further ado, please welcome Andy Green.
Susie, how do I make this work? Susie, do I have to share this?
Oh, yeah. I just got on with the doing the announcement.
You know how to do it, sharing, right?
Right.
Hey, Andy, how
Yeah.
about introducing our newest member?
Yeah, you put me on the spot there. Because I was like, there's a syllable in your last name that I cannot pronounce. So this Brady is the new director of Sarah Harding. We did vote him in as a new member, so in the coming weeks we'll have him come up and introduce himself and tell him a little bit about himself. So, so we'll get some time here. Yeah. Oh, hey guys, I'm going to talk about myself and then kind of the year ahead. But I want to take a page from Carrie's book and have everyone that was a prior president say that they like stand and introduce themselves, but then also say what year you were president, if you remember, and where you went for your convention. So I'll start with Carrie, and we'll go back that way and turn around and come back this way.
I know where it went. Carrie Donaire, club president, 2024 to 25. I went to Singapore.
Gary Foster, I went to Orleans. Many years.
Well, if you're gonna get by with that, I'm gonna get by with that. I'm not really sure. I was after Paul Holmes. Paul's not here. Montreal, Canada.
Rich Kwan, 2017, 2018, I went to Atlanta.
Josh Theater.
Dale. Oh,
Claire Byard, it was 97, 98. I went to Glasgow, Scotland.
Oh, nice.
Still going, 1991, 92, 93, about a year and a half. And I went to Portland.
Was that Oregon or Maine?
Oregon. But I stayed in Washington.
Tom Gatterman, 2013, I think, and went to Lisbon.
Mark?
I'm Margaret Quebec, 1989, went to Calgary, Canada.
Mary Swanson went to Copenhagen. I think it was 2011, but I'm not sure.
Braden Roberts, 2023 to 2024. I was supposed to go to Australia and then mentioned daughter. So I couldn't do that.
Chris, were you president up in Wisconsin?
Yes, I was president 1450. Sydney, Australia.
Well, awesome. Well, I'll tell you guys a little bit about myself. I grew up here in Clinton. I'm a Clinton High grad. I think you guys, we've talked before. I went to the University of Northern Iowa, came back here, got a quick degree from Ashford, and then started working for the Boy Scouts. And the Boy Scouts traveled me around a little bit before I came back here to Clinton. I know that I don't look like it today, but I used to be quite the runner, and here's me after the Indianapolis mini marathon, half marathon in Indy. I keep telling them I had a really bad long haul COVID, so my body got kind of messed up by that. But I keep telling myself I'm going to do another half marathon someday. And then these are I have one sister, Carly, and these are her kids, my niece and nephews. Mason, Carter on this side, and then the baby is Ken. Ken is 11. Well, Kendall. Ken is 11 months old today, and Mason is 6, and Carter is 3. Mason is already pushing 5 foot if he's not 5 foot already, and he is bigger than the average 10-year-old at 6. So these kids are going to be quite massive. I think Carter's going to be bigger than Mason, but pretty much anytime I can be with these kids, I take that opportunity. So they're kind of a big part of my world. Anyway, this is a map I painted during the pandemic. I'm a big traveler, and this is my travels. I've been to 48 out of 50 states, and I'm trying to visit every Capitol building, Major League Baseball stadium, presidential gravesite, and now I've added national parks because I was kind of running out of the other things. If Carter would not have died, I would have 100% of the presidential gravesites. But I was waiting for Carter to die to come down to the Georgia, Tallahassee area. So thankfully, I think I'm going to hit there later this year. Still trying to figure out the timing on that. So, but 100 was a good age for Carter. But also, that guy lingered in hospice for like 2 years. So I was always kind of planning my trip to Atlanta, and then I had to keep waiting. So, so hopefully I get to knock some of those out later this year. So it was brought up a couple weeks ago. I have this Mr. Potato Head that has been everywhere. And back in 2008, I got a little bit of a national attention with the Mr. Potato Head. And so part of this is the reason why I keep going out and seeing things. But I'm really I'm running out of places to go in America. And so I need to get overseas a little bit more. This potato head belonged to my grandfather, and it was absolutely nothing for him, just something that was on a shelf. It is Milwaukee Brewers edition, so he got it for free. But then when he passed away, my grandmother just kind of gave it to me as like a fluke, where she was like, "Oh, here, you can have this." And then now that's taken up almost 20 years of my life. So I've had a lot of fun with him, and lots of weird looks. So. For a while, I was way too into this potato head thing. So that's the evidence of that. Okay, so Rotary has been a big part of my life for a long time. I was a student guest to this Rotary in 2005, 2006, and when I came, I remember we got to sign up for what month we wanted to go, and I figured out that October had 5 Fridays or 5 Mondays, so I got to be out of class 5 times, and then so I signed up for October. And then I would always like mess around on my way back to the school and stop and like get a soda and that kind of stuff. And at the time, my mother was the secretary you had to check back in with. And every time I'd walk in, she'd be like, I know that it doesn't take you that long to get back from Australia. So I'm like, the traffic is bad. But I definitely, as a student guest, I became very interested in Rotary and what Rotary did. I was not the scholarship recipient that year, which I've held a grudge for ever since then. But in 2013 or 14, I joined the North Scott Rotary down in on the north side of Davenport, really based out of Eldridge. So this plaque does have my name on it, where I was New Rotarian of the Year at the North Scott Rotary. I didn't get to see the next Rotarian because I left during the year. I had to move, so like I had to give the plaque back. I never got to see who got the next one. But I found this. I found no photo evidences that I ever belonged in this club, but this was a thing that they had published in their newsletter when I and my partner at the time spoke on the Boy Scouts at a club meeting. So then when I lived in Indianapolis, I wasn't really allowed to be part of any social clubs because of the finances of where I worked. But when I moved up to Spencer, Iowa, the first thing I did was join a Rotary. I truly, when I moved to Spencer, like I hadn't even seen the apartment that I was living in. I like found an ad off Craigslist and like moved in sight unseen. So like I truly knew no one when I moved up to Spencer. And so I reached out to the Rotary right away to try to start meeting people. So this is me getting the Paul Harris up in Spencer. This guy here, Bob Rose, I believe that Bob is like 95 and he's a very active Rotarian, and he's gotten the Paul Harris at least 12 times. So he's like a major donor for the Rotary, and they call him Mr. Spencer, and there's literally a mural of him in Spencer. He's one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. But I'm glad that I have a picture somewhere of him giving me the Paul Harris. So I've really had a love for Rotary for quite some time. I was actually president of the Spencer Club, and the joke up in Spencer was that people who became president had to move, and the person who was supposed to be president had to move, and then the guy that was like the elect, he was like, I can't take this on right now. He had some things going on in his life, and so then I got a call, and they were like, hey, we think that you're like the person that can step into being president. I wasn't even on the board. Like they're like, we think that you could be the next president. And then 2 weeks later, I was president. So and then 6 months later, I had to move. Like so. Luckily, since me, nobody in that role has had to move. But I had a great time at the Spencer Club.
So did they just want you to move? And that's why they
Right. There was the Susie of that Rotary. I walked into her office to tell her that I was moving, and when I walked, and I'd never been in her office before, and I walked in the door, she just looked at me and she goes, "Don't tell me that you're moving." Okay, so I had the opportunity to go to Calgary, Alberta for my convention. I can't tell you I was necessarily looking forward to visiting Calgary, Alberta. And then I did not want to leave Calgary. I absolutely loved Calgary and all of the culture that was there. I was then wearing like a hoodie like every day, where it was about 60 degrees every day, while here it was like 95 plus humidity. And I was up in Calgary where I was like almost too chilly. And this is a picture of me with Norland and his wife. We went to a rodeo together. So Calgary has the world's largest rodeo. It's called the now I'm forgetting the name of it. It's Calgary Stampede, and it starts on July 4th. And I believe that we left on like the 28th of June. So everybody, they were getting ready for the Stampede as I was leaving. These are some pictures from Calgary. I put these here to show that Calgary hosted the Winter Olympics. And you can still very much feel the Winter Olympics around the town. This construction site would have been the Olympic Village, and they're turning that into something new. That's where they would have gotten like their medals. And then this thing here is like where they did all the ski events. And I kind of saw that from a distance. The tower, the Calgary Tower, it was the world's largest Olympic torch. And not only did they light the top of that thing on fire during the Olympics, but every year during the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony, they relight it. And then anytime a Canadian gets a gold medal, they light it again. They light it for that day as well. The Calgary Olympics was when like the Cool Runnings took place, when the Jamaican bobsled team, that was the Calgary Olympics. I really loved that aspect of the community, and then also the Wild West aspect. So this is some stuff on the Stampede. Where the convention was held, there's a series of smaller stadiums in a convention hall. The one stadium is where the Calgary Flames play. And then there's where the main rodeo takes place, and then there's another stadium off of that. That's where the majority of the Olympic events would have been held, is in that campus. But there was really a Western theme throughout the entire city. And here's where this is all like public art that I saw that all has a taste of the Wild West. Everything was Wild West themed, and I really loved seeing a city that really delved into that aspect of their culture. Because you think about, that Wild West era wasn't very long. It was only about 20 years, maybe 15 years in the American experience. But Canada would have gone through that as well, where they were exploring and settling in areas that people really shouldn't live. We really don't need to be living up in the mountains, that kind of stuff. And so that's where Calgary would have come from. So I just loved that aspect of everything. Oh, this is some of the stuff from the convention. Each day there would be like a big ticket event in the morning. We got to hear from the Vice President of Global Education from the Sesame workshop. And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever until they announced the guest speaker, which was Gina Davis of Thelma and Louise, and she was in Beetlejuice and A League of Their Own. And Gina Davis has started a initiative that they've been working on for years, where they noticed that they did a study that 10, 15 years ago in children's programming, only 15% of any main character was female. And through her initiative, they've gotten it now where it's at least 50% today in children's programming. So girls are able to see representation of themselves in children's programming. And now they're working with other demographics, race, and trying to make sure that what's in children's programming accurately reflects the percentage of the population, so that people have a chance to see themselves when they're kids watching programming. So it was fascinating hearing from her, and it's like you've really seen her in a lot of movies lately. She's been out working and doing like real work with her initiatives. Of course, I had to. Oh, this is a ukulele band from like people all over the place that play ukulele, and they got together and did a little concert. Of course, I had to stop at a Tim Hortons. I stop there every morning on my walk over to the convention. Calgary is one of the things I love about Canada was every restaurant had like everything where you sorted everything into like your recyclables, your landfill waste. Everything was like renewables. You couldn't get plastic bags at any store. You had to either bring a bag or you had to pay money to get a cloth bag. Everything was very walkable, and they had a train going through the downtown that you didn't have to pay to get on through that chunk of downtown. If you went outside the downtown and we're not a Rotarian, you would have to pay a small fee, but at least in the downtown, you could just hop on the train and get to the next spot. And it was just, I just felt like I was like kind of in the future a little bit. Oh, and I got two pictures here. The one is just, I thought it was awesome that we were at a Rotary event and the featured beer was called Iron Lung Ale. I don't know if they like thought of that as being like a pun, but so, you know, with iron lungs and like polio, the mix there. So I just thought that was kind of awesome. So this guy, I was asking him for, I needed help with one of my tickets. It wasn't scanning right. And he saw that my name badge said Clinton. And he was like, oh, Clinton, Iowa. This guy is from Calgary. He lives in Calgary. And he goes, Clinton, Iowa. And he goes, do you know the Jones family? They have funeral homes. And I'm like, yeah, I know the Jones family that has funeral homes. They're opening a new funeral home. And so I sent a picture of him over to Levi. And I'm like, Levi, this guy says hello. Apparently his name is Evan. And Levi knows him. So it's a small world kind of thing. Hey, I never ran into anybody from Iowa, except for like the Iowa breakfast, but then I run into a guy that knows Levi. Oh, hey, so outside of Canada, here in Clinton, one of the projects that we have for this year is this is an existing shelter up at Eagle Point Park. They just built it within the last year or two. One of the goals with the city is to make the Jurgensen Soccer Complex into a year-long park where it's being used more than just during soccer games. So one of the plans is to build a inclusive playground at that park, and then the hope was to build a shelter with that as well, so then they can use the park, and then also the playground would be handicap accessible. Right now, none of the parks that we have in town are inclusive, even though they might look like it, they're not fully inclusive parks. Well, Josh with the city, he had an opportunity to get a grant or a matching fund for the playground, that the match would have, so it would have gotten more money for the playground and had a better playground, but the match was bigger than what he had budgeted. So it would have cut, he goes, if I do the matching grant and we would get a nicer playground, he goes, I can't do the shelter. And I said, well, let's, as a Rotary, we'll take care of the cost of the shelter and in building of the shelter so that we can get a bigger, nicer playground there as well. That's all inclusive. So the shelter is going to have the same specifications as this one that was just built up at Eagle Point Park. We'll get the Rotary Mark of Excellence in there somewhere, but we're thinking it's going to be about $40,000 for the building of it. We have 7,500 budgeted with the Rotary, and we received 7,500 in a District 6,000 grant. So we do have 15,000 set aside for the project. I'm hoping that we can utilize that 15,000 to get a CCDA grant and cover the last bit so that we can build that shelter. And if we were to not get that CCDA grant, I'm going to be coming around asking people for some funding so that we can cover the last part of this grant, because I think that this is, I know that like maybe like saying like, hey, we're building a shelter. I don't know if that sounds necessarily all that important, but I think what the shelter helps us, by us building a shelter, what it helps for our community, I think that that's very important. And so we'll be continuing to work on this over the coming months. The CCD grants are due in a couple of weeks. I already have half of it written, so we'll be in on time and we'll be ready to go. Yeah. Oh, it's on. I have like a countdown on my. I'll have it in before then. Okay, so I've put together. I know that this can't be read, but I'll share this on the board. Kind of a 5-point action plan for the year and what I want to get accomplished over the year. So the 5 points are membership, service, committees, new member experience, and then also a grant process. So we with membership, we want to boost our membership and continue growing our club. With service, I grew up through the Boy Scout program. I've always been a big supporter of service learning and service opportunities. And so I want to look for more ways that we can go out and actually do service and like service projects within the community. And I don't want it just to be like anything just for the sake of doing it. I want it to be something meaningful. And so we're looking for some service opportunities right now. So hopefully as we get into the spring, we can have a couple service opportunities with the club. We've talked about it before, but we want to make sure that every board member has a corresponding committee and that we're building out our committees. Everybody in the club has ownership over something, but then also we can build a system to, like help replace people on the board, and then also get everybody involved and have everybody working on different things. I'm a big believer that what many hands make a lighter work, and so I think that we can get a lot more accomplished as a club with everybody working together. So right with a new member experience, right now we don't really have anything like that. And I want to work on a program so that as new members come in, within the weeks and months afterwards, we have either a class, for lack of a better term, that they can come to make sure that they know what Rotary is about and what our club does, and then also how we get them involved right away with the committees and other actions, so that we have new members come in. We're getting people active and have ownership of the club right away. So the thing is a grant process. We've talked about this for some time, and we're going to get it going where we'll have a window of time where groups in the community can apply for funding from the Rotary. Right now, everything's kind of done piecemeal, and it's discussions throughout the year on where our funding is going to go. But I want to get a committee of people that review grants, and we have a grant process over, like 3 months in the spring, where people can apply for funding from the Rotary, and then not only once we give out the funding, we'll have people come in and speak on what they're getting the funding for, and have a better way for us to help our community. I had to add, while I was in Calgary, I had to add some more potato photos. So this is the Calgary Tower, and this is a bridge that's on the cover of everything. I don't remember the name of it. This bridge is next to an island where that's very walkable. It's almost like if Eagle Point Park was on an island and there was no cars on the island. It was all walking. It was massive. And so I went out there for a little bit one night, and a beaver walked up to my feet. Where I'm like, can I touch this thing? Like, is it gonna but a beaver literally walked up to my feet, and I got to hang out with the beaver for a little bit. So yeah. So then the last thing was, a couple weeks ago, it was mentioned that I have a Lego room in my house, and people asked to see pictures of the Lego room. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on it, but I'm also already out of space for new Legos to come in. So we're figuring this out, but this is it. This was the room my sister grew up in, and now it's a Lego room. So yeah. So I guess does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
How long does it take you to move the Lego room when you move between places?
Oh, that's just part of the house now. Yeah. This was a lot of work, and I'm definitely not even done. Yeah, and don't ask me how much money I have wrapped up in there. I know how much it's worth. I don't know how much I spent on it. What?
It's priceless, right?
Yeah. No, there's a price. So does anybody have any questions for me? Awesome. Well, that makes things a little easier. That gives us more time to take a picture with Regan.
And on behalf of the club, we would like to present you with this wonderful book that you don't have to put in the Lego room, because it's going to go to the children's department of the Clinton Public Library. The Big Book of Amazing Lego Creations.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
Guys.
we did have something in the chat.
Oh. Oh, yeah, Andrew Kita was president 22 to 23, and he went to Houston. I forgot that Andrew was on there. I meant to ask him that before we were doing that. And then John, where did you go for your conference when you were president?
I went to Salt Lake City.
Rock and roll. another Winter Olympics town. So, well, guys, thank you very much. Remember, we need to take a photo, and with that, unite for good.